What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel coming to you with a Wednesday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Hopefully you voted. I did the thing, and now I never have to wear the sticker again. But anyway, until the next time I vote, hopefully you voted. Anyway, we've got Wednesday basketball coming your way, 12 games. Tuesday, off for the election. Once again, hope you voted. I'm not going to say that anymore this program, but I will talk about Bet365. I will talk about tails. You'll have two opportunities to have two really good deals coming your way. And again, Bet5 get 150 in bonus bets. They've changed it a little bit. Not the 200 you're used to, but you know what? 150 for just $5 still sounds pretty good to me. So take advantage of that offer. Again, it might come down again soon, so you want to take advantage while you can. Anywho, I have nothing to talk about here on the front end. Hopefully, no, I said I wasn't going to say it again. Producer Jacob, hello. 12 games, tons to get to. Let's get to the picks. And we begin our day here with Detroit at Charlotte. A little bit of injury news. And obviously, one thing that's making today more difficult than general is that I usually get to record right when lines come out. Unfortunately, these are not stale lines. These are lines that have already been bet into place here over the course of the last, I don't know, over 12 hours it is already. I mean, yeah, people were busy with election things and things of that nature, but pretty much every single line dropped by this morning. It was updated in my spreadsheet. I've now tracked a lot of this line movement, and one thing that we're seeing here, and I don't think it's actually showing up in the prop market, is that Charlotte is going to be without just about any big whatsoever, because Nick Richards, well, he's been out here for a while with that right shoulder issue, and now Mark Williams who was out with the left foot injury. He's coming back in like 2-3 games potentially, but Nick Richards now also, I want to say IR, but yeah, it's the injury list. We're going to the IL these times. That's baseball. Anyway, we have Nick Richards out, and that's the thing to be paying attention to as it stands right now. I think you get Taj Gibson as somebody who probably has to start because Jalen Duren has size. And you know who really doesn't? Grant Williams, who got the start last time or can get starts going forward. I just don't think you can do that with a guy like Duren there in the middle, and that has me so excited to go to the young Memphis center here. He's somebody that kind of got a bad rap after his rookie year, and then I was early to the party last year. We were on some double-double numbers to the moon, and some people are trying to make a resurgence on it. I mean, we're seeing some plus money now on some of these double-doubles for him. Part of that is Tobias Harris. The rebounds are going to potentially come up for him a little bit there, and then from a points department, there's not a ton to go around with Jaden Ivey now in that starting unit. Well, he's been in the starting unit all of like the last 2 years, but I'm saying alongside him, Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr., whose job is to score the basketball, even though he's doing a pretty shit job of it so far this season. Oh yeah, and Cade Cunningham, the other guy who's out there routinely. Stop buzzing me. I love you too, Mom. I'm sure she wants to talk politics. Let's not do that today. We've got ourselves an opportunity, though, with Mr. Duren in this spot. Double question mark, but I like the over of 22.5 points plus rebounds. That's sitting at minus 105, and it shouldn't be. Partially, I mean, Detroit's starting to take in money. This is about as good of a spot as they can run into going up against an undermanned, undersized Charlotte team. Yeah, I mean, give me Grant Williams center minutes and then let Duren just absolutely smash his face in here. The double-double I'm going to revisit in the morning. Now, I only have, I believe, the two spreads that I have bets on. Yes, one that's kind of a decent favorite, one that's kind of a long dog. Freudian slip. Orlando, plus 6.5, taking on Indy here in this spot. And Indy is not very good themselves, but oh man, nothing could look worse than Orlando in its current iteration. And part of that, Paolo Banchero, I feel like he should just win MVP despite the fact that he's missed like a couple of weeks because of how bad Orlando looks in his absence. I mean, if you've been paying attention, part of it also is Wendell Carter Jr. I just got talking about how Charlotte has no size. No, Mo. Well, they surely don't have any on the Orlando side. You've got Mo Wagner, who's going to be starting on a day-in, day-out basis more than likely in some of these spots. However, they do get Goga Batadze available for this one. I think you give him the start up against Miles Turner because Miles Turner, double-double, really got after, not Daniel Gafford, but like Daniel Gafford got played off the floor. That was very sad to me. We'll talk about that later. I was on a double-double for that, as was everybody in tails. That was painful. That was suffering. It was something that was kind of a very, very late ad as well. But plus 310 without Derek Lively out there, that was a whole thing. We'll get there. However, I am here for Indy minus 6.5 just purely because we're seeing the offensive rating just plummet without one Paolo Banchero. And it's going to continue going in that direction. Now, Indy, I do think Tyrese Halliburton's been struggling. I don't know what's going on. I think it's still a shoulder issue. Andrew Nembhard did play last game. He's listed questionable, but I expect he plays, even with just Aaron Nesmith being the one out. You've got Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam in the front court. That's a lot better than Tristan Da Silva and Goga Bitadze, my projected starters. Now, they could go Mo Wagner. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, and have Goga play limited minutes off the bench. But Miles Turner just got done going crazy against Dallas. I think he has a pretty chance to go crazy in this one, but nothing really standing out at the moment. Something stands out here yet again. So we just got done going Jalen Duren over points plus rebounds. Let's do another points plus rebounds. And, well, you got plus 850 with the double-double. You had yourself a nice little Monday off of my picks. Guess what? It was pretty moderate, the amount of money that I had on that one. Had a lot of really good plays, but all the biggies. I mean, John Morant loses by the hook. We had Philly money line that I ended up adding to the card. They lose despite being up 7 with 3:40 left to go, plus 250. I'm so mad at them here, but let's talk about some good things here. Karl Anthony Towns, he converted on the points plus rebounds. Was looking a little dicey there at the beginning of the game, but he had a huge second half in come from behind mode. Wasn't enough to take down Houston, but going up against Atlanta, there's definitely going to be a changing in the guard here at some point. Now, I'm worried because Onyeka Okongwu, he's only 6'9", and he's also not a very good defender. He's one of the worst defenders that I've got in terms of bigs in basketball. And Karl Anthony Towns, well, you might want to guard him. So probably stay with Capella, although 6'9", going up against Cat, I still think his length is... Clint Capella's just been brutal. That's basically the point of this conversation. And I've kind of been early to the party on Okongwu. We'll see. We'll see if he ends up taking over the center minutes there. Kind of works alongside Jalen Johnson, the Duke product. Shout out Duke. The guy looks awesome out there. Is going to cut into his rebounds here and there, but I expect the minutes to go maybe 30-18, where you see Capella be the backup center sooner rather than later. I don't think that happens here, but I think we continue to see 26-28 minutes as his projection, as the guy who's getting the lion's share of the minutes. And against a Knicks team that obviously has nobody behind Karl Anthony Towns, and knowing how often with Minnesota Karl Anthony Towns would get in foul trouble, has kind of avoided that so far this season. It's coming, though, when he's playing 38, 40 minutes a night. And I think these are the kind of spots where it's a little sneaky to go to Okongwu over 15.5 points plus rebounds. It is minus 120 at DraftKings here at the moment, so juiced up a little bit more than I would like, but again, the double-double, plus 850 last time around. Doubt we get those kind of numbers because he's shown he's got that dog in him, but want to still have him be the guy who's on your radar. We want to be early to the party when there's going to be a changing in the guard, which kind of happens after a couple of weeks if a team stutters. And, well, we're going to see Atlanta starting to sputter here, more than likely having Capella out there for too many minutes, even at 22 a night. You know what? I'm shocked. I had to run this game probably 55 times. I'm not sure if producer Jacob ever notices when I take 45 minutes on a specific game and then put lean because, well, I'm a coward. Golden State plus 7.5 against Boston. No Jaylen Brown. That is going to be something that matters here in this specific matchup. And of course, the other guy, Kristaps Porzingis, still not going to be back here with this team. I think everybody else, though, we saw Neemias Queta play pretty decently. I mean, they just put the smackdown on Charlotte. Call that game early on account of weather. It sucked because Jason Tatum had 26 points in the first half, finished with 28. And you know what? I had 30 plus in a lot of different spots. Yay, basketball. Oh, a blowout. The National Blowout Association. I've heard that a lot in the last couple of years, more than I would like. However, it was still a positive EV play. I would do it 100 out of 100 times. No regrets on Monday. It could have been an absolute smash if a couple things go your way. That's the way it is. But we want to still be early to the party when we see certain teams or certain trends. And the one thing I want to point out is this Golden State team playing 12 deep, getting Steph Curry back, and now taking on a Celtics team that they have some history with. 2 years ago, Golden State ends up taking them down with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green, with all of the pieces there, made it work, and it was by committee. You had Gary Payton II, the Mitten. Oh, that's the greatest nickname in all of basketball. But also, we saw Golden State go into Boston and play some really, really nice games, and I know it was 2 years ago, but the fabric is there. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and then insert random players here. 12 guys. Buddy Hield coming out, playing 24, 26 minutes. His job is to chuck it whenever Steph Curry is not on the basketball floor. Even when he is on the floor, he's going to have to start seeding away and finding looks for him. But I thought I was going to end up on Golden State, but I reran this multiple times. Again, 10,000 simulations is kind of the name of the game from a DFS perspective that we do over at Stochastic. And, well, from a betting perspective here at Odd Chopper, I still couldn't get there. I thought I would. This lands almost on 7.5 every single time, so it is perfectly efficient. I'm not going to say an I know better type of spot, but Peyton Pritchard shot the ball really well. Boston, Drew Holiday, Derek White, all of these guys shooting the three really, really well to start off the season. And Jason Tatum, he's playing like a man scoring from the Olympics. I will bring that up lots. Oh, and did you mention Steve Kerr is the guy coaching on the other side? Benched Jason Tatum in multiple spots throughout the Olympics. I think just some of the narrative based of that could end up adding 2-3 minutes to Jason Tatum's range of outcomes in a lot of game environments. So for me, it's going to just be a lean on the Golden State plus 7.5 side, purely because Jaylen Brown, kind of important. I would call him Boston's best player. I mean, the guy won a finals MVP for a reason. I'm just going to throw it out there. Producer Jacob, you're the token Celtics fan. What say you?
Oh, Jaylen Brown is their best player. I won't even debate it.
You guys want to check out my stuff for free over in Tails? This is a great opportunity to do so. And it doesn't matter where you are, because I'm throwing pick'em cards in. I'm throwing prop bets. I'm throwing all my spreads. I'm doing it every single way that I possibly can for you this NBA season and throughout the duration of the NFL season here. We're less than halfway through it when you count the playoffs. So playoffs, you guys want to join between then and now? Well, Underdog, Vivid Picks, DraftKings Pick 6, Better, Sleeper. Those are all pick'em sites on the left side of your screen. On the right side, FanDuel, BetMGM, DraftKings, Caesars, Bet365. Damn good find. Why don't you suck it to me one more time? Those are the sports books, as well as Rebet down there at the bottom. All you have to do is follow one of these 4 great steps, well, all 4 of them to be exact. Find the promo, choose the offer, use the deposit bonuses, please. Please do that as well. Take screenshots of your welcome email and first settled bet, and then email them to support@oddshopper.com. And when you do, you'll get 1 month free of me, $50 value coming your way. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. Lots of new faces, too, in that Discord, and some really, really sharp people. Again, damn you for throwing out Daniel Gafford. Although, here's the thing. People throw up recommended bets to me all the time. That was a really, really good one. Again, we'll get there. San Antonio, plus 6.5 taking on Houston. I thought, watching that game against the Clippers, I thought we were going to see a triple-double from Wemby with blocks. It was getting silly. He didn't have any like the last 5-6 minutes of that game. And Chris Paul, I thought he was a guy who was going to show some revenge here on the Clip show, but ended up just being a little bit too kind to them. Clippers end up taking that one down. Really good stuff from their bench unit for once. That's something they're going to need. Kevin Porter Jr., nice to see you join the party here for once in your GD life. But as we move along through some of the metrics in this one, I do have a play, and I haven't thrown out a lot of totals. I think people who have followed me for a long time understand why. I've had my goings back and forth as far as it, because I've had a lot of sharp people, a lot of people who do this professionally in Vegas and elsewhere. And they're like, oh, totals are like the most beatable thing in the NFL and the NBA. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but part of it is because I'm so prop centric. A majority of my plays come from the prop department, although I think I've done a pretty good job with the old spreads in the NBA. I think the NBA, I have slightly hard. So it's slightly better than NFL. It's slightly worse than MLB, which is just so weird that I'm good at MLB sides and totals. That's so dumb. But anyway, totals in MLB have been fixed in the last year and a half. Once again, people who have followed me for a while know that one too. But I think this is getting a little silly. This number is now dropped to 214, and it is a buy-in spot, if you ask me. San Antonio, they're not going to be playing crazy up in pace, but so far, adjusted offensive rating, I expect them to get much better than 21st. Part of that is Chris Paul at the helm. Victor Wembanyama hasn't been ramped up as far as minutes go, and they're going to get some pieces back. Trey Jones, Devin Vassell. Those are 2 guys that really matter. Now Jeremy Sohan out with that wrist or hand. I believe he broke his hand. It's one of the 2. I am thinking that we see a little bit worse defensive side there as you have to start making way for Keldon Johnson potentially in the starting unit. I don't think that's something that they want to do. I could see Stephon Castle end up starting here as well next to Chris Paul and having him play the 2. I like the fabric of that team as far as a starting unit from an offensive perspective. And that just has me a little bit shocked to see 214 here as the current number. I'm buying into it. You have Tari Eason questionable, Dylan Brooks questionable for this one as well. Maybe some wing depth that is missing. Amin Thompson, oh man, please drop his props. In fact, we'll talk a game that I really want props from, but I want the over here. 214, a little bit too low for my liking. Have it closer to 217. Oh, the Lakers, man, we were going ham watching JJ Redick here as a devout, lifelong Duke fan, like since I was 7. Don't ask me why. Very much here for JJ Redick coaching a Lakers team. It hasn't been going very well on this road trip, and I think that was kind of scheduled. Like that was something that they were gonna have to come to reality with. They beat up on Toronto. Congratulations on that one. But besides that, they've lost 3 of 4 here on this road trip. They'll be fine, though. Part of that is that Jared Vanderbilt's still out. Christian Wood's still out. They're missing some front court depth. It's made it a little bit difficult. And Jackson Hayes, whether or not he's in the NBA in a couple of weeks, we will find out. But Jackson Hayes has to be your backup center. That's never an ideal situation. I would actually argue I'd like to see some Christian Koloko minutes at some point, but I don't know. It seems as though JJ Redick he can't shoot. That's kind of an issue. Neither can Jackson Hayes for what it's worth, but whatever. We continue on our merry way. We are looking at something pretty interesting in this one. It's on the other side, and it's my favorite play from the entire session. In fact, clip for social time. We've got ourselves Memphis on the other side. People have been watching Ja Morant here in the last couple, because I had Ja Morant as a lock last time out, but you know what? I did one nice thing for myself. I added points plus assists into the mix, and part of that should be something that I'm probably going to do it again tomorrow, but the first thing I had to just jump on before this juice gets outrageous, and it is available at Bet365. We'll talk about them here next in a second. But Memphis, this is a spot where Ja Morant, without Desmond Bane, without Marcus Smart, the ball is in his hands incessantly. And yes, Scottie Pippen Jr. has been awesome, revelatory actually, off the bench, but we're starting to see the two coexist a little bit more. And as they've started to share more minutes, I want to talk through a couple of things. 4-1-3. Those are 3 of the last 4 games where Scottie Pippen Jr. had that's his straight up assist. This was a guy who used to back up Ja Morant. Now, they blew out Philly towards the end of that game, and Scottie Pippen Jr. got up to 13 assists in that one. But I think that speaks to games that are close in terms of spread. We're going to see Ja Morant play 30 plus now going forward. We're going to see an assist rate that's going to be north of 35-40% going forward. And we're going to see him share the floor with Scottie Pippen Jr., and you're still going to put the ball in the hands of one Ja Morant. We have Jay Huff, who's a pretty decent shooter. And actually, every single time I turn on a Memphis game and watch him, I'm impressed by his range and what he's able to do as a 7'1" center. I mean, it's kind of the new age. We're seeing 7-footers shoot threes going back to, everybody. I mean, not just Kristaps Porzingis, but Dirk Nowitzki back in the day. But whatever, we're continuing on. Zach Edey getting easy buckets. Brandon Clark's, as his minutes become more capable, maybe they can start playing the two alongside each other, put some pick and rolls together, and that'll be some easy assists for Ja Morant. But against the Lakers front court that has nothing there, yeah, I'll look at the points plus assists again tomorrow. It's not looking great at the moment, but I bet I end up pairing it as well. I just locked this. Locked it again. We're going back to the well. I know it was 10 plus assists. It opened at 8.5. If I had known, but I got this at -130, -140 currently best available line. If you want to do the alt, the same thing we did last time. I'm sorry it got hooked, but guess what? I still think that these are way too damn low with the absence of Smart and Bane and Luke Kennard potentially going to be somebody that's questionable for the first time this season. I'd be excited to see him back on the floor for range. We know he can knock down threes in the corner, and by way of Ja Morant, that's probably the way that it's happening. Bet 5, get 150. That's how this happens for you at Bet365. You go to the link down below. Take advantage right now at any one of these 11 states. It feels like an electoral college up here. Colorado, Louisiana, Virginia, Kentucky, New Jersey, Arizona, Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off, twist around your head, spin it like a helicopter. In Pennsylvania, the key to the election. Oh, did you just get done watching? Everything happened the way that you wanted. Awesome. Celebrate by signing up at Bet365. Did everything go poorly? Oh, I'm sorry for you. But also, here's $150 in bonus bets to feel a little bit better. Pennsylvania, bet 5, get 150 down at the link below. 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. God, that was how we do it in the pros. Back to the picks we go. Whew, never getting jazzed up from an ad read before, but God, Bet365, that's a great deal. Just check it out. Cleveland, -7.5 going up against the Pels here. 7.5, pretty big number. But I said I had a favorite, and I have a dog. The dog's coming up later. This is not it. With the Pelicans, Zion Williamson, Jordan Hawkins dance in his khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh. That's probably the sound he makes when he stubs his toe. Oh, because he is questionable. Is it a toe injury? I can't even remember off the top of my head. I know that he's on the injury report. Let me find it. That'd be really funny if it was. Low back tightness. Damn it. That would have been too good. That's why we can't have nice things. But let's have a nice thing here. Cleveland, they have so many options. Karis LeVert questionable for this one. It would be awesome to get him back off the bench. That's just more ammunition in the kitchen. But Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are just offensively doing silly, naughty things. Darius Garland, 7 for 11 from 3 there. Played a lot closer game against Milwaukee, but eked out 2 close wins. Well, this Pelicans team, and I have Zion closer to doubtful for this one. I've got him around 70% to be out, 30% to be in. I try to grade some lines and do some things that way, purely because in the long run, that is going to be very useful to you and me if I am good at that trade. And last year, I was very, very good at that trade. In 2020, I was not very good at that trade, but COVID made everything impossible because it was 2021 to be exact. Yeah, because we just had guys getting ruled out for absolutely no reason from time to time, and that became a headache beyond belief. But as I keep running the sims for this one, and as I keep looking at game probability scores and how I go about ranking these teams, the Pelicans without Zion Williamson would be one of the worst teams in the entire NBA because they are already, without all the other pieces that I feel like I have to list off every single day, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, he's very good at the defense. Guys, this is so straightforward, so clear-cut. I really don't have anything else to add. Won't be a lock purely because you land on like a 9.5 number here. That's inside of the 10, and lots of ways that they potentially, just don't completely run them out of the water on the road. I mean, laying 7.5 on the road is a pretty weird thing to be doing in the NBA in these days, but I think it's more than justified with this Cleveland team. They keep things rolling in Louisiana. Chicago and Dallas, and I'm very, very mad. I'm very, 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 very mad because, well, from a DFS perspective, Daily Fantasy Sports over at Stochastic, by the way, Chicago, this was a team that I was all over some of the numbers, but they did not release any props for Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Josh Giddey last time out until you got the news about Zach LaVine, and he ended up being out from the clouds. Now, I think because he was just ruled out last time, we're still going to be sitting here waiting, wishing for some other stuff. But I don't want these adjusted middle props for Kobe White. I don't want these middle adjusted props for Josh Giddey. What I want is to be able to take advantage of my hunch that you're going to have Ayo Dosunmu not start this time around because I think Zach LaVine plays. I think they were looking to give him Monday, Tuesday off and have him back here on Wednesday. Every team in the NBA off on Tuesday. And they don't play on Thursday. Only 3 games that we're looking at there. There's only one team on a back-to-back that's going to be San Antonio, which, by the way, we'll talk about for Wednesday evening, Thursday's program, that is, because we're probably going to end up on the Portland side already. Get your baggie, your little vomit baggie ready, because, yeah, it's going to be brutal. But I'm looking at props for 2 specific guys. It's Ayo Dosunmu, probably looking at shorting it, because I do think you're looking at that. But Najee Marshall, too. I think Najee Marshall ends up being the starter. PJ Washington has been ruled out on the Dallas side. And you run through all the metrics with Najee Marshall last time out. I mean, he's been flat out good. Now, the Pelicans, they would love to have Najee Marshall back on their basketball team, especially if he does the kind of things that ran Daniel Gafford off the floor last time. It was very frustrating from somebody who bet all of the Daniel Gafford numbers, specifically that double-double that ended up hurting my soul. But it was understandable if you watched that game. 34 minutes for Najee Marshall, 8 for 9 from the field, 26 and 5. What the flying F is going on and got into Najee Marshall for a day? Against Chicago, I think you can definitely make a case for having him as being the starter out there instead. 1-for-1 swap PJ Washington minutes. Have Gafford still start there. Olivier Maxence Prosper probably falls into this rotation to some extent. Dwight Powell played a couple of minutes here and there, but God, give me the Najee Marshall props. It's a weird thing to ask for, I know. All right. I know you're going to want this. I know people are going to ask me about Jokic triple-double here. Hey, it's going to be a competitive game against OKC, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. Oklahoma City has been the best team in basketball defensively by a ridiculous margin to start off this season. In fact, I've got them 3.5 points better per 100 possessions, 105.2. That's an adjusted defensive rating there. Better than Orlando. And, well, Orlando offensively has fallen to 25th in my modeling. Once again, shout out Paolo Banchero, how good and important he is to that team. But Boston, number 3 in terms of adjusted defensive rating, and they're number 1 offensively. Oh, yeah, that's your best team in basketball still. But OKC going into Denver, and Denver, the talk of the town. The same thing that I said before the season started, they've got no depth. Well, now they really have no depth. Aaron Gordon going to be out for a while. Multiple weeks, right calf strain. This is a stone cold disaster, and I almost sent this to the moon on OKC, but the number moved right before that Aaron Gordon news. I didn't know how badly he got hurt until after the fact. The report came out, the line came down. It comes back up 4.5. I'm still entertaining Oklahoma City for what it's worth, but currently the under of 223.5. I just don't trust Denver offensively to do anything. And Oklahoma City hasn't exactly been firing on all cylinders on that side of the floor. I mean, you work through some of the Shea numbers. I mean, Shea was like one of the favorites to win MVP, and I would argue he's been number 2 in MVP voting on his own team so far. He's still good. I mean, he's shooting only 28% from 3. That's been a little bit of a problem, 13 for 46, but hard to get into rhythm when you barely play compared to what you're used to. I mean, I think he's averaging like 32 minutes a game. These starters and then this bench are just nuclear, just destroying everybody. So I have under 223.5 as the best play, but I got to let you know, it might be an I know better, an IKB bet, where I just take OKC at -4.5. Don't be shocked if you're in tails and that gets fired up. We got 3 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Going to try to get us in and park this car at the 30-minute mark. Miami, 5.5-point dogs heading to Phoenix, and I'm so pissed at the Sixers. 7-point lead there. I end up on a money line plus 250, end up modeling that out, and ends up really, really nice positive EV in the morning after they introduced some of that. Paul George played more minutes than I think people had anticipated. We'll talk about that in the next series of games. Is that the last game? Nope, it's the one after this. But I really have nothing from you here. I think this is almost like perfectly efficient. And when I talked about the numbers getting bet into place, this total has come up a little bit, 222.5. Part of that, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, not exactly the best defenders, not exactly like the prototypical Eric Spoelstra type dudes out on the floor day in, day out. They get to go up against Phoenix, where you still have the eternal questionable tag that's hanging around. Maybe this is just kind of commonplace for Bradley Beal. I think they said that he was going to be closer to playing in this one, but he has that elbow issue that just keeps flaring up. And sometimes you'll wake up and then it'll say now questionable for Bradley Beal. So just don't be shocked by anything. I suppose his official tag now on NBA.com is probable. So know that. If you guys want to know where to find that, just type in NBA injury report. It should be the first thing that pops up. People ask me that a lot. Anyway, don't ask me about a play from this one. I think with everybody in on the Phoenix side, we're starting to see some predictable rotations on their side. Now that Royce Allen's playing a little bit more, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn. He's been pretty good to start off their season. That's a nice find by them. But Miami plus 5.5, if you absolutely made me take anything from this one, props looks so efficient. Phoenix side looks so efficient. Maybe there's something where Bradley Beal gets unexpectedly scratched, but as such, yeah, it's probably not even worth a point at this point. I wanted to pull the trigger on this. I really did, but I can't. Phoenix -1.5 taking on the Clippers, and some people are going to be like, oh, 12-game slate. You only give us like 6 plays. I talked through a lot of speculative betting, including like OKC -4.5, including, again, the IO props. I mean, I could be looking at shorting him like crazy if those numbers ever drop, but doubt they're going to come before Zach LaVine news. Also, Golden State. We're going to be paying attention to props there because there's going to be something to short out of that grouping with 12-man rotations against good teams like Boston. But that's a conversation for tomorrow in Tails. You can sign up for that down below once again. But in this specific spot, I want to talk about the Clippers with Andre Drummond coming to town here for Phoenix. It kind of fits like 1-for-1, but Yabusele has been awesome. The Frenchman, Gorshon, he used to play for the Celtics once upon a time. I am terrified to think of what that French edition of Yabusele would look like with the Celtics right now, because, well, he used to be there. They ended up casting him off, but hey, maybe they needed the kick in the rear to jumpstart his career. And, well, he looks awesome out there. In fact, got up to 30 minutes, and they ended up benching Drummond for large stretches of that last game. However, completely different opposition, and Yusuf Nurkic hasn't exactly been in favor with Phoenix here of late either. If you look at some of those rotations, you can do that at popcornmachine.net. You can look at that over at addmorefunds.com. Hey, I'm dropping in all of my researching sites for the people who are really interested in that stuff because I want to help you get better at this, and teaching a man to fish gives you more fish. I think that's what the proverb is. Anyway, Andre Drummond over 20.5 PRA. I think against Ivica Zubac and these Clippers, these are just kind of like I know ball type takes where it's like, yo, I think there could definitely be something here where the range of outcomes for his minutes go up to like the 26-28 side as opposed to the 15-16-20 he's been floundering around. He's been in foul trouble a ton. They get PG-13 back, plays more minutes. It's cutting in. They can go small. Clippers, doubt they really want to, though. They want to take advantage of that inside matchup if they're not going to have Drummond on the floor. And it makes me want to bet this over, but I can't do it right now because I repeat, Gorshon. I don't know what the truth is in French. I used to know French. I don't know French anymore. And our last game of the night, Toronto on the road in Sacramento. Oh, you were waiting for the dog. Ooh. You can fire up the beam as long as Toronto loses by 10 or less. That would be fine by me. 238.5 total. Up the variance. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. And Grady Dick. What? The fudge, bud. What are we doing? You're good? Are you good? Is Grady Dick good? 38% from three, 47% shooting. I've got him as like a 90th percentile offensive player through the first couple of weeks. Now, defensively, he's absolute trash. But guess what? In these high-tempo games and against a Sacramento team that isn't exactly good on the other side, I mean, this is a guy that's got a 23.5% usage, is shooting 36%, as I said, from three, 88% from the free throw line. Only a 56% true shooting, but that's still above normal, and that's not what I was expecting here. So Toronto plus 10.5. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Yes, I know it's terrifying. Go up, fire up the beam. Go ahead. Toronto loses by 10. There you go. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite plays are here for these adjusted lines here as we go into Wednesday. Tons of injury news on the docket for 12 games, 24 teams in play. I'm going to be covering it all in tails. You will get all of my bets. I'm going to be firing up everything, an updated betting list. People who watch the video, make it in tandem. It's good to have the combination of the two because numbers change constantly, and hopefully we get some numbers to change for the better. If you guys want to check out everything there, once again, tails, you can sign up for free. We have those great steps, great opportunity for everything there. We have Bet365. You can sign up there if you're in one of those 11 states. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all. Until next time, until Thursday. No more political ads. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA street on Hump Day.